As you can tell from my eyes, I'm sleepy. Bro, I have not been getting good sleep lately. Man, but headed to work, of course. And as the title says, this video is about how easy it is to be a man, how easy it is to be a man in healthcare, especially at a hospital, and like the high possibility of dealing with like stress and you could possibly be depressed, and of course numerous factors can contribute to it, but one of the main things I want to talk about during this discussion is that the difference between how men and women think, and how they act. It's hard because it makes the job hard for a male, especially a male that's a minority, such as black, even Hispanic, Asians, or whatnot. It's difficult as a man because you're around in the healthcare, especially being a nurse. You're around a lot of women. I want to say the ratio is probably like 2 to 8. Even wherever I worked, it's been like 2 to 8. Sometimes even 1 to 9, if I'm telling the truth. And this is not to talk bad about women at all. It's just to say that thinking different is sometimes depressing because how you act outside of work is different. Your reality, or how we act out. Let me put it like that to not sound like offensive or anything. How we act outside of work is different. Our reality is different, and I would even say probably our goals are kind of different, and because of that. When you're not gonna say with different personalities. I'm not going to necessarily say clash in this specific situation, because I don't mean clash in an argumentative way, but I mean when they are around each other, when different personalities are around each other, it could become difficult, man. And yeah, as you can say, this video is I'm kind of hesitant of this video because I do not want to sound offensive. But at the same time, I don't want to beat around the bush, man. I'm not like a drama person. This is not saying that I'm dealing with drama or anything. But yeah, it could be hard, man. Like as a man, and like I said, especially as a black man, right? Or even as a minority, like I'm pretty sure some Hispanic man can say this, some Asian man can say this. We don't like talk about the same thing as women talk about, especially like if you're like a straight man, right? And again, this is not, well, let me say this is not an attack on women or like the LGBTQ community at all, but I'm just saying, like, when you're a straight man, and even some gay men, I would say, probably can say this, or some bi men or whatever, we deal with a different reality outside of work, meaning I want to say it's a 1 in 3 chance that a black man is going to go to jail. I think that's the ratio, that a black man is going to go to jail in his lifetime. It's a 1 in 3 chance that a black man is going to go to jail in his lifetime. If you think about the consequences of things, right? If a man and a woman have a fight or something, or like, let's say it's a couple or something, right? And let's say they arguing, and let's say that they're both doing the like equal amount of damage to each other in that argument, like meaning they're putting their hands on each other, which I hope never happens, but it does happen. Or let's say they're not putting equal amount of, like let's say that they're not 50-50. Let's just say, for example, the woman is hitting the guy, right? Let's say the woman is hitting the guy, and the guy is just like trying to take the woman's hand off of the guy, right? And then let's say that the police are called, right? Let's say that the police are called, and let's say both the man and woman are telling the police that the other person is putting their hands on him. Like, meaning, like, let's say that the man is telling the cop that it's the woman that's hitting him, and let's say that the woman is telling the cop that it's the man that's hitting her. When the cop comes, what do you guys think is going to happen? Like, do you think the cop, like, let's say the cop is going to handcuff somebody first, right? Or let's say the cop is worried about somebody's danger more so than the other. Do you think that the cop is more so worried about the woman's danger, or more so worried about the man's danger? I would guess that the cop is more so worried about the woman's danger, right? Like, meaning he wants to keep the woman safe, and you know, that's understandable, and like that's understandable. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but I have seen situations, and a lot of men can also say this, that they know of situations, they know of sometimes where a woman would use that against a guy, right? They use that against a guy, meaning they know that it could like mess his life up if they say this story. Like, they know that they could put their hands on a guy, and the whole idea that a man shouldn't hit a woman. It's a lot of women that take advantage of that, right? And they'll like continuously put their hands on the guy to kind of like provoke the guy, right? Or get a reaction out of the guy. And whether they do or not get a reaction, typically cops are going to be called, and it's going to cause that guy a lot of trouble. Let's also look at like child support, right? Child support. Who typically pays child support in a relationship? Is it the man or is it the woman? Who typically, like, when you usually see like online or your friends or whatnot, or your family members, who typically is the one paying the child support? Like having huge portions of their check go into child support. Is it the man or is it the woman? Me personally, and I would imagine y'all can say the same, it's the man that has to pay the child support. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm not giving my personal opinion on it, but typically we do see that it's the man that's going to pay the child support, right? When you think about a relationship, right? When you think about a relationship, who does the world typically say has to be the provider? Or who do they typically associate the idea of being a provider to? Is it the man or is it the woman? I would personally say that I typically hear provider be a word that a lot of women say man should be, the provider. Another example, if there is like a robbery, or let's say there's like a shooting or whatnot, and let's say it's a man, it's his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and let's also say it's a kid, who do people typically say it's their responsibility to protect the family? Like, meaning they should get the family out first, or guard the family, and they should take the bullet. Who's the person that has the primary responsibility of protecting their kids and their significant other? Is it the man or is it the woman? Is it the man or is it the woman? Typically it's the man, right? I could go on and on. I can go on and on, but I can't stress to a woman how much responsibility is on a man's back. And a man can't even cry about anything. We're always taught to be a man about things, We're always taught to be a man about things. Like we can't even have opinion on things. Like, we can't even have a preference and type of who we date without women saying like judging us for doing it, right? But women they can say they want a guy that's like 7'11" or something, and like, we don't shame them. But if we have a preference or something, we're going to get shamed, right? But I say that to say that it could be really hard, being a man as it is. But it could, not only can it be hard being a man, but when you throw in like, okay, being a black man, that, speaking for myself, that could be really, really hard already. So when I come to work, when I tell you I don't have no time to number one, gossip. I don't have no time to gossip. I don't have no time to worry about what somebody else is doing if it's not like related to like business or patient. When I tell you I don't have no time to do any of the things like that, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about, but I don't want any coworker to think I'm like specifically talking about that. I'm just saying that overall these things happen, and like men are sometimes always like forced to be in the middle of this, and that we got too much responsibility outside of that job and even on that job, right? We got too much, it's too much pressure being a man as it is to want to come to work to do things like that, to do things like worry about what's in somebody else's pocket, gossip about somebody else. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some men that do that at the job, right? Like some men that may not be satisfied with things at home or whatnot, but typically, especially like a black man that's focused, as a Mexican or Hispanic man that's focused, as an Asian man that's focused, or whatnot, and even white men. I know some white men that are focused, especially that came from tough upbringings, that's trying to make a difference in their life. We all have this understanding that we're going to deal with life on hard mode, and that's not to discredit women, because women do have it hard too. But we're always having to deal with consequences of just being a man, right? For example, when in a healthcare setting, if you're a male nurse, when you're, it's a lot of hospitals in places where, like, if you're assessing a female, right, you got to have that second license, and it's preferably a female that's going to shadow, because like although there is some weird, male healthcare workers that take advantage of females, there are some men that just honestly come to work to do their job and just care about people. But like, we got to have that second like license or witness when we're doing like some bodily assessment, which is, I'm not complaining about it, but like, women typically don't have to do that, and I'm not complaining about it, but that's just saying again, because like, it's that risk of being a man. Like as a man, you got to deal with even what you didn't do. And what I mean by that, you gotta, just because there are weird men out there, if you're an honest man, you have to deal with the consequences of that weird man. Like if it was a woman that was like traumatized, whether a patient, whether a coworker, whether a patient, coworker, or whatever. If it was a woman that was traumatized, a lot of the times, like, women are going to generalize men and expect men to be like the person that traumatized them. And like when they encounter like a good-hearted man, they're not going to be able to see that he's a good-hearted man, because like the trauma of what they've been through, they're going to associate that with a lot of men. Whereas if you're a man, you're always taught to man things out, like meaning like, even if you were like, let's say, hurt in a relationship, this is not personal about me, but like if you're hurt in a relationship, or like if a woman traumatized you, you're always taught to be a man about things, and they say, get over it, you're supposed to be a man. Like even when I went out the country, like I was harassed a lot by women. Like it's like I was harassed by women, like I was like touched, and I didn't give consent by a lot of women when I went out the country. And I'm not complaining, but part of the reason why I'm not complaining is because I was always taught to be a man about things, like I had to be a man about things. And and part of being a man is like, you don't have the right to have like feelings, I guess, if that makes sense. But I say all of that to say that when I come to work, I I'm not saying anything is wrong with maybe it's nothing wrong with worrying about what somebody else got, worry about who else, like, you know, like formulating groups or whatnot, and rolling your eyes or talking back. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but I'm just saying, as a man, we have consequences for if we were to be doing that, right? Like we could get in bad trouble if we were to be doing that, right? And not only that, it's not in our mind. Like, you know, with testosterone, it's not in our mind to wanna do things like that, like, at all, you know. And I have multiple jobs, so I don't want any of my jobs to think that I'm specifically, you know, talking about y'all or talking about specific women that do this. But these are things that happen in the field, right? And it could just be depressing for a man, because, like, we just want to come home and work, man. Like, we got this with the whole American dream. The world is going to disrespect a man that can't provide, or not even just provide, but if you are a man that somebody just so much think you can't provide, you're going to be, you know, the society is already going to disrespect you, you know. You're going to have a lot of responsibility, you know, like, you're going to have to open up the doors for people, or if you see, you know, a woman getting robbed, you're going to have to, like, society, you're going to have, if you're a man, you're going to have to risk your life helping that woman. You know, if you see like a single mom with kids, if they're tired, like if their car tire goes out, as a man, you know, they're gonna look at it like, yo, even though you don't know them, they're gonna look at it like you should have helped that family. And they're not going to accept no excuse. Like, let's say you're a man that didn't have a father in your life or something, you don't know how to change a tire. Society is not going to accept that as an excuse. If you're a man, they're going to be like, yo, you're a man, you should know how to change a tire. And yeah, like, you should always help a woman, but especially a woman with kids that need their tire changed. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I just say all of that to keep circling to this. We have enough responsibility being a man to come to work and be okay, or just, we have too much responsibility of a man, and responsibility that we never even asked for, to be able to come to work and have it in our mind to be worried too much about what somebody else is doing, what's in somebody else's pocket, and things like that. I hope I don't sound offensive, because I'm not trying to sound offensive, but I'm just saying that as a male healthcare worker, I'm, you know, around a lot of women, and I'm not talking about all women are like this, but a majority of women are gossipers, or ones that formulate cliques, and are ones that come to work and you know, like, tend to you know, it's this saying, and I hope men comment on this, and even women, if you guys want to comment and tell me if I'm lying. You guys heard the saying that women react to things more emotionally. Not saying that it's wrong or right, whereas, yeah, guys, they don't typically like move with emotion, you know. They don't typically move with emotion. They say women are typically the ones that, you know, act with more emotion, you know, or react emotionally about things, like, where they say, man, they don't, you know. I even heard cases of women, like let's say a guy's mad at a woman and a woman is mad as a let's say a guy's mad at a woman, or let's say a woman is mad at a guy. I've seen a lot of cases where you could be a woman and you could have a license to your name and whatnot. I've seen a lot of cases where some women would go as far as, like, you know, there's a thing called HIPAA. It's like where you gotta protect patient information, especially if you got a license to your name. But if you're in healthcare, you gotta protect patient information. I've seen a lot of cases where women would go to their man's chart that somehow becomes a patient, and if the woman suspect the man cheated, or if the man even cheated, right? Not saying that cheating is right, but let's say that I've seen cases where, you know, like, women think that the man cheated, and, you know, as revenge, they would go on a man's medical record at the hospital that the woman works at, and they'll put the man's medical record, like STDs or something like that. They'll put those on Instagram. I've seen that happen, things like that happen numerous times, right? I see women do that to men numerous times, and like I said, I'm not taking up for men that cheat, but as a man, we will be scared to do, like, even if a woman was cheating on us, like even if a woman was cheating on me, I'll be way too scared, or it wouldn't even cross my mind to like if I were to have them as a patient, it wouldn't even cross my mind to, or even if they're not my patient, like let's say that they're one of my coworkers' patient, it wouldn't even cross my mind to put their STD results or their health results on social media. Like that's scary to me, man. That's scary for me to do, man. I'll be worried about my license, you know. I'll be worried about going to jail, you know, getting that fine. Like, I say that to say, as men, we think, and as you can see through my video, it's 21 minutes already. As men, we have a lot of consequences that we have to deal with, and we think about consequences a lot. So when you're a man, and especially a healthcare worker, your mind is already different, because that's all when we go places, that's the first thing we think about is consequences of our actions, and everything we do is going to have a consequences, even if we don't do anything harmful. You know, we just think about the overall picture of things, and we think about the risk of things, if you will. So when you're around a lot of women, men and women act different. Like, you know, like how they say, like, happy wife, happy life or something. Like, in a lot of men during guy talk, they say that you just got to put up with women like gossiping about other women. And if that's your wife or your girlfriend, you just gotta, you know, like listen to them say that, you know, listen to them do that, and just, you know, my bad, Joe. Yeah, but they say as a man, you gotta just like deal with that. And I'm not judging nobody's relationship, but like that could be hard. You know, that could be really hard, man. I hope I'm not offending nobody with this video. I didn't get much sleep, so I don't want to offend anybody. I'm hoping my words are not coming off, you know, all over the place. I hope I'm not offending anybody again. Hopefully y'all get what I'm trying to say. Hopefully I don't, you know, like get in trouble for this video. Hopefully we can just have a conversation, if you guys are willing to, about things like this and have an understanding, you know. But yeah, it's just easy to be depressed as a man, but especially in healthcare, because like you're not in, and I'm not saying my way of thinking is the right way, but you know, like men and women think differently, whether we want to admit it or not. Men and women think differently, and if you like, let's say even if you're a woman around a lot of men, you know, like hearing how different things are can stress a woman out. I'm going to also say that if you're a man around a lot of women, it could be very, very hard, especially when you're in healthcare, because it's like it's 12-hour shift. It's almost 13-hour shifts, because like you got a chart and everything, and it's like, as a man, you just wanna be able to only think about that. You know, you just want to be able to only think about that, because like it's gonna already be a lot of consequences at home or on the street and stuff like that. It's already going to be a lot of consequences just of being a man to come to work and have time to worry about things that typically women worry about. So you're going to move different, you're going to act different, and you're going to think different, and sometimes as a man, we just got to stay silent about things like that, man. Let me usually I have a holder let me end this video, man, because people cannot drive right now, man. Let me end this video. God bless everybody. Yeah, hopefully you watch it. Hopefully, you know, like, I'm making sense of what I'm saying. But yeah, peace out and God bless y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you've ever been in the same situations. Yeah, let's keep dialogue going, or let's start dialogue rather, and let's have an understanding for each other, man. Peace out and God bless everybody, man. Peace.